Breaking right now, a judge has issued a ruling on detainments made by Customs and Border Patrol agents in the city of Chicago.
The Border Patrol commander in charge of President Trump's immigration crackdown in Chicago is being reined in by a federal judge.
We are following breaking news out of Chicago, where a judge has just ordered hundreds of individuals detained by federal agents.
3:47 a.m., Los Angeles, California. A dense marine layer hangs over the San Fernando Valley, muffling the city in gray silence. Temperature sits at 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Street lamps cast weak halos through the fog. Nothing moves. Then everything moves at once. 78 federal agents from the FBI, DEA, and IRS Criminal Investigation Division emerge from unmarked vehicles lining a quiet residential street in Encino. They wear black tactical gear. Night vision mounts glow faint green. A ram thuds against the front door of a Mediterranean-style estate valued at $4.7 million. Breach. The alarm system screams for 6 seconds before an agent disables it at the panel. They stack through the foyer, sweeping left, sweeping right. Flashlight beams cut through dark hallways lined with oil paintings. A woman screams upstairs. In the master bedroom, agents find Superior Court Judge Michael R. Castellano, 61, standing beside his bed in a bathrobe, hands raised. On the nightstand next to a glass of water sits a burner phone. In the walk-in closet behind a motorized shelf unit, agents discover a room no building permit ever authorized. Inside, a floor safe containing $2.1 million in bundled cash, 3 encrypted laptops, and a leather-bound ledger listing payments spanning 11 years. The total scope of what Judge Castellano protected would stagger federal prosecutors. $9 billion in cartel revenue sheltered. Over 340 drug trafficking and racketeering cases deliberately sabotaged from the bench. Exposed supply lines stretching from Sinaloa to Seattle. Enough fentanyl to kill every resident of Los Angeles County 4 times over. But the most dangerous detail was the simplest. Yet he was not working alone. 14 public officials across Southern California had been operating as a shadow network inside the justice system itself. It started with a traffic stop, a single K-9 alert 18 months earlier. No one saw this coming. If you want the full truth, hit like so this story reaches more people. The operation had a code name, Blind Scales. For 18 months, investigators had been building a case so sensitive that fewer than 30 people in the entire Department of Justice knew it existed. To understand how they caught them, we go back to the night it all began. June 14th, 2024, 9:42 p.m., Figueroa Street, South Los Angeles. A routine DUI checkpoint. Officer Diana Salcido, a 6-year veteran of the California Highway Patrol, flagged a silver Mercedes-Benz S-Class for an expired registration tag. The driver, later identified as 33-year-old Victor Lozano, handed over a Nevada driver's license. His hands were shaking. His eyes kept glancing at the rearview mirror. A K-9 unit walking the line sat down beside the trunk. Inside, officers found 42 kilograms of fentanyl concealed in hydraulic compartments welded beneath the rear seats. Street value, $6.8 million. Field tests confirmed pharmaceutical-grade purity at 97%. Lozano said nothing. He requested a lawyer before officers finished reading his rights. The report went straight to the DEA Los Angeles Field Division. Within 36 hours, a joint federal task force was assembled under the direction of FBI Supervisory Special Agent James Okada. The task force pulled Lozano's phone records immediately. What they found made no sense. Lozano had made 14 calls in the previous month to a number registered to a chambers office inside the Clara Shortridge Foltz Criminal Justice Center, the Los Angeles County Courthouse. A low-level drug courier was calling a sitting judge. Investigators cross-referenced financial records. Deposits totaling $387,000 had been routed into Lozano's accounts over 8 months from a shell company called Pacific Meridian Holdings, LLC, registered in Wilmington, Delaware. The company listed no employees. Its registered agent was a P.O. box, but its signatory matched a name already in the federal system, a name connected to cartel logistics dating back 13 years. This was not just a drug bust. It was the first thread of something far bigger. If this shocks you, comment exposed below. But the traffic stop was only the surface. What federal agents found when they pulled financial records would reveal an empire hidden inside the American court system itself. Subpoenas landed within the first week. FBI forensic accountants embedded with the IRS began tearing apart the financial architecture surrounding Pacific Meridian Holdings, LLC. The company had been incorporated in 2016. It claimed to operate as a consulting firm specializing in international trade compliance. Its tax filings showed modest annual revenues of $220,000. Its actual throughput was staggering. Over a span of 22 months, $47.3 million had cycled through Pacific Meridian's accounts at 4 separate banks. Deposits arrived in amounts of $8,700, $9,100, $9,400, always beneath the $10,000 currency transaction report threshold. And the money moved outward through layered wire transfers to accounts in the Cayman Islands, Panama City, and Dubai. One account in the Caymans held $11.2 million. Another in Dubai held $7.8 million. None had been reported to FinCEN. The company was a ghost. But the money was very real. For 9 weeks, agents watched. Unmarked vehicles parked on residential streets, cameras mounted on utility poles, and inside traffic light housings fed live footage to a warehouse command post in Torrance. Tracking devices authorized under Title III warrants were placed on 7 vehicles. They saw Victor Lozano, now out on bail, meeting a woman at a taco stand in Van Nuys at 11:15 p.m. on a Tuesday. She was later identified as Sandra Fuentes, 38, a paralegal employed at the Los Angeles County Superior Court, assigned to Judge Michael R. to Castellano's courtroom. She handed Lozano a manila envelope. Lozano handed her a small black duffel bag. The exchange lasted less than 90 seconds. Surveillance teams followed Fuentes to a storage unit in Chatsworth, rented under a third party's name. She entered at 11:48 p.m. She left at 12:06 a.m. Agents later obtained a warrant for the unit. Inside, they found $1.4 million in vacuum-sealed cash, a laptop with encrypted partitions, and a spreadsheet listing 87 case numbers from the Los Angeles Superior Court, each annotated with outcome codes and dollar figures. The web expanded rapidly. Pacific Meridian was one of 5 shell companies feeding a single network. Another, Golden Coastal Imports, LLC, claimed to import electronics from Shenzhen. Customs records showed 0 shipments in 3 years. A third, West Park Capital Advisory, listed a Beverly Hills address that turned out to be a virtual mailbox. Payments routed through Dubai, Monterey, Panama City, amounts like $8,950, $9,200, always structured to avoid detection. Federal investigators were no longer looking at a drug courier. They were looking at a cartel's private judicial protection service. Type yes if you are ready to see what happened next. The storage unit in Chatsworth was the first domino. A search warrant executed on October 3, 2024, produced not only the cash and the laptop, but a second ledger, this one digital, encrypted with AES 256, stored on a partitioned external hard drive disguised as a portable battery charger. FBI cyber forensics teams at the Regional Computer Forensics Laboratory in Los Angeles cracked the encryption in 11 days. What they found rewired the entire investigation. The drive contained 1,247 files. Among them, scanned copies of sealed court orders, pre-signed dismissal motions on official judicial letterhead, and a database cataloging over 340 criminal cases spanning from 2013 to 2024. Each case entry listed a defendant name, charge, assigned courtroom, desired outcome, and a payment amount. Dismissed cases were highlighted in green, reduced sentences in yellow, mistrials in blue. The going rate for a full dismissal on a federal drug trafficking charge was $140,000. A reduced sentence cost $75,000, a mistrial, $50,000. Agents traced the encrypted communications through a messaging platform hosted on overseas servers. Messages were auto-deleted after 72 hours, but forensic recovery tools captured fragments from device caches. One exchange, dated April 2024, read, "Package confirmed, case 24-CR-1187. Outcome green. Funds cleared Dubai Thursday. Another, new referral. 2 defendants, trafficking plus firearms. Need yellow on both. Quote me. The corruption ran deeper than the bench. A second encrypted folder contained a separate contact list labeled Infrastructure. Inside were the names of 14 public officials, 2 additional judges, a county prosecutor, 3 LAPD officers, a city building inspector, 2 bail bondsmen, a court clerk, a probation officer, a county assessor, and a member of the LA County Board of Supervisors. One file contained direct payment records for LAPD Sergeant David Kowalski, $12,000 monthly to ensure patrol units avoided specific delivery routes in the San Fernando Valley. Another showed the county assessor, Linda Chow, that receiving $8,500 per quarter to undervalue properties purchased with laundered funds, reducing tax exposure. A bail bondsman named Terrence Avery had processed over $3.2 million in bonds for cartel-linked defendants, all guaranteed to appear, all cases later dismissed by Castellano. The system was not broken. It had been engineered. If you believe this needs to be exposed, hit like now. Judge Michael R. Castellano, 61, had sat on the Los Angeles Superior Court bench for 17 years. Appointed in 2007, he was a former federal prosecutor who had built his reputation dismantling organized crime in the 1990s. He owned 3 properties in Southern California, the Encino estate, a beachfront condo in Santa Monica valued at $3.1 million, and a ranch in Ojai assessed at $2.6 million. His judicial salary was $238,000 annually. His actual income, investigators estimated, exceeded $1.9 million per year for the past 11 years. He was the architect, the gatekeeper, the man who decided which cartel operatives walked free and which ones served as sacrificial convictions to maintain his statistical credibility. Sandra Fuentes, 38, served as his primary conduit. A paralegal with access to sealed filings, she managed the ledger, coordinated payments, and acted as the physical intermediary between the court and cartel logistics. She had no criminal record. She drove a leased Honda Civic. She maintained a $42,000 annual salary on paper. Her actual compensation exceeded $300,000 per year. Sergeant David Kowalski, 44, ran interference from inside the LAPD. He ensured patrol patterns left corridors open for deliveries across the valley. He tipped off network members about upcoming raids. He had been a decorated officer with 2 commendations. County Supervisor Richard Brennan, 58, used his position to steer municipal contracts toward cartel-affiliated construction firms, laundering money through real estate development in Palmdale and Lancaster. Bail bondsman Terrence Avery, 51, processed millions in bonds. Court clerk Patricia Delgado, 47, manipulated case assignments to ensure defendants landed in Castellano's courtroom. Prosecutor Alan Nakamura, 43, deliberately weakened cases he was assigned to try before the judge. They had turned the Los Angeles County justice system into a servicing arm of the Sinaloa Cartel. January 22, 2025, FBI Strategic Operations Command Center, Los Angeles Field Office. A wall of monitors displayed satellite imagery, I-Live surveillance feeds, and digital maps studded with red markers. Each marker represented a target, 19 locations, 7 counties, 78 agents from the FBI, 42 from the DEA, 26 IRS Criminal Investigation Specialists, 14 U.S. Marshals. A tactical briefing had concluded at 2 a.m. The execution order was issued at 3:15 a.m. At 3:45 a.m., federal tactical teams launched. At 3:47 a.m., the battering ram struck the front door of the Castellano estate in Encino. 12 agents entered through the main entrance. 6 breached through a rear patio door simultaneously. The judge stood in his bedroom. His wife sat on the bed, hands covering her mouth. Agents secured both in under 90 seconds. FBI search warrant. Our hands where we can see them. Castellano said one word. Lawyer. Behind the motorized closet shelf, agents cataloged the hidden room's contents. The floor safe required a federal locksmith. Inside, $2.1 million in bundled hundreds, 3 encrypted laptops, the leather ledger, and a secondary burner phone containing 614 text messages, none sent to any number registered in his name. Simultaneously, at a two-story apartment in Van Nuys, agents breached the residence of Sandra Fuentes. She was awake, sitting at a kitchen table with a laptop open. She attempted to close it. An agent secured the device before the screen went dark. The laptop contained an active session connected to the encrypted communications platform. Fuentes was handcuffed at 3:51 a.m. in a hallway closet. Then agents found $340,000 in cash inside vacuum-sealed bags stored in suitcases. Simultaneously, at a single-family home in Northridge, Sergeant David Kowalski answered his door holding a coffee mug. He was in full LAPD uniform, preparing for a morning shift. He did not resist. Agents recovered 2 department-issued firearms, a personal AR-15 rifle, $78,000 in a bedroom safe, and a prepaid phone containing encrypted messages referencing patrol route modifications. Simultaneously, at a commercial office suite in Glendale, listed under Golden Coastal Imports, LLC, agents found no employees. The space contained 4 desktop computers, a paper shredder that had been running recently, and filing cabinets holding incorporation documents for all 5 shell companies. A false panel behind a supply closet revealed a secondary room containing a server rack and external drives storing the complete financial architecture of the network. By 6:12 a.m., the operation was complete. 123 individuals arrested across 19 locations in 7 counties. Seized $14.7 million in cash, 187 kilograms of fentanyl, 42 kilograms of methamphetamine, 94 kilograms of cocaine, 12 firearms, 9 properties, 43 vehicles, including 3 luxury boats docked in Marina del Rey, 29 bank accounts frozen, holding a combined $38.4 million. The largest judicial corruption bust in California history had taken 2 hours and 25 minutes to execute. Comment justice if you believe they deserved what came next. The evidence inventory took federal teams 11 days to catalog. The drug seizures alone filled a secured DEA warehouse in Commerce, California. The 187 kilograms of fentanyl, street value estimated at $29.4 million, tested at purities ranging from 91 to 98%. Forensic chemists confirmed the product's chemical signature matched batches linked to Sinaloa Cartel super labs operating in Culiacan, Mexico. Cash recovered from all locations totaled $14.7 million. Denominations skewed heavily toward $100 bills. Agents found bundles wrapped in cellophane, stored in duffel bags, hidden inside walls, tucked beneath floorboards, and vacuum-sealed in household appliances. One washing machine in Fuentes' apartment contained $120,000 packed inside the drum. Digital forensics proved even more devastating. The 3 encrypted laptops from Castellano's hidden room contained a master database spanning 2013 to 2024. It documented 342 corrupted cases. It listed every payment, every defendant, every outcome. One spreadsheet, labeled ledger_master_V11.xlsx, contained 4,218 line items, each a transaction between cartel operatives and network members. Total documented payments to Castellano alone exceeded $21.3 million across 11 years. Communications recovered from 26 devices revealed the operational language of the network. Code words included green for dismissal, yellow for reduced sentencing, blue for mistrial, and red for a target requiring elimination from the case file entirely. One message fragment recovered from Castellano's burner phone, dated September 2023, read, "2 reds incoming, high profile. I need full disappear. Fee doubled." Financial investigators mapped the full laundering circuit. Money originated as cartel drug revenue in Southern California. It flowed through the 5 shell companies. It moved offshore to the Cayman Islands, Dubai, and Panama. It returned as real estate investments, luxury vehicle purchases, and tuition payments to private schools in Beverly Hills and La Jolla. Share this so more people understand what was almost lost, but the numbers did not capture the real damage. Brandon Ellis, 28, worked as an electrician for a commercial contractor in Burbank. He had injured his back on a job site in March 2023. A co-worker sold him what looked like a standard OxyContin pill for the pain. It was counterfeit. It contained fentanyl. Brandon took the pill at 9:30 p.m. on a Saturday in his apartment. His girlfriend, returning from a late shift at a restaurant, found him unresponsive on the couch at 1:15 a.m. He was pronounced dead at 1:47 a.m. He had no history of drug use. The pill was traced through the DEA's forensic database to a batch distributed by the same supply network that Judge Castellano's court had shielded from prosecution for 3 consecutive years. Ashley Tran, 34, was a registered nurse and mother of 2 living in Glendale. She filled a prescription for pain management following a car accident. The prescription was legitimate. The pharmacy was legitimate. But the supply chain had been contaminated. Diverted fentanyl, rerouted through a distributor whose trafficking case Castellano had dismissed in 2022, had entered the legal pharmaceutical pipeline through forged documentation. Ashley died in her sleep on November 9, 2023. And her children, ages 4 and 7, were in the next room. The Sinaloa network that Castellano protected was linked by federal prosecutors to over 11,000 overdose deaths across 6 states between 2013 and 2024. Community leaders in South Los Angeles, the San Fernando Valley, and East LA held town halls demanding accountability. Church leaders, school administrators, and local business owners issued joint statements. The betrayal was not just criminal, it was institutional. If this makes you angry, comment "Never Again" below. March 3, 2025, United States District Court, Central District of California, Los Angeles. Judge Michael R. Castellano stood in a Navy suit, hands clasped in front of him, behind the defense table in courtroom 7, the same building where he had once presided. His hair was thinner. His jaw was set. He did not look at the gallery, which was packed with federal agents, journalists, and families of overdose victims holding framed photographs. The indictment ran 147 pages. Charges included conspiracy to distribute controlled substances under 21 U.S.C. Section 846, racketeering under the RICO Act, bribery of a public official under 18 U.S.C. Section 201, money laundering under 18 U.S.C. Section 1956, and obstruction of justice under 18 U.S.C. Section 1503. Castellano's defense team argued entrapment, claimed coerced cooperation, and challenged the admissibility of encrypted communications. The court rejected each motion. Prosecutors displayed the ledger_master spreadsheet on a 12-foot screen. They played audio fragments recovered from the burner phone. And they showed surveillance footage of Sandra Fuentes handing the manila envelope to Victor Lozano outside the taco stand in Van Nuys. The jury deliberated for 4 hours, guilty on all 27 counts. On April 18, 2025, Judge Castellano was sentenced to 42 years in federal prison without the possibility of parole. The presiding judge stated, "You weaponized the bench. You sold justice by the pound." Sandra Fuentes received 22 years. Sergeant David Kowalski received 18 years. County Supervisor Richard Brennan received 15 years. Bail bondsman Terrence Avery received 12 years. Court clerk Patricia Delgado received 10 years. Prosecutor Alan Nakamura cooperated and received 8 years. 11 additional defendants received sentences ranging from 5 to 20 years. All pensions revoked. All professional licenses stripped. Their asset forfeiture totaled $67.4 million. 9 properties seized, including the Encino estate, the Santa Monica condo, and the Ojai Ranch. 43 vehicles, 29 bank accounts, 3 boats. The fallout reached Sacramento and Washington within weeks. California's Judicial Council launched an emergency audit of 12,000 criminal cases across Los Angeles County. The FBI established a permanent judicial integrity task force in the Central District. The Department of Justice issued new screening protocols for sitting judges flagged by financial anomaly detection systems. 3 additional judges in Southern California resigned before investigations could conclude. An LAPD internal affairs review resulted in 19 officers placed on administrative leave. But the investigation was not over. Victor Lozano's cousin, Rafael Lozano, I fled to Guadalajara 2 days before the raids. He remains at large, believed to be coordinating a replacement network from Jalisco. Intelligence analysts confirmed at least 4 similar judicial corruption cells are currently operating across the American Southwest. The most dangerous threat is not at the border. It is already inside, wearing a robe, sitting behind a bench, holding a gavel. Comment your thoughts below. Hit like so this story breaks through algorithms. Share this with anyone who believes the system will protect them without accountability. We are currently investigating a similar network operating in Phoenix, Arizona. If you want us to expose them next, subscribe.